Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So my name is Samantha. I'm going to walk you through the most update information that I could find on the fires in California, guys. So bear with me. I just flew back from, look at this hair, from Seattle, Washington yesterday. I was going 9 days from our farmstead. And so much has happened in the United States, but what is going on in California right now is mind blowing. So as you pop on, please hit the like button, drop over. Good morning, Hop and See. Tell me who you are. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what you have heard about these fires because we need to have this conversation. The information that I have compiled for you guys is mind blowing. There are unidentified objects in the skies above the fires. There looks like orbs and or drones above the fires. I have video proof of it from multiple sources. We're going to be talking about how millionaires are clamoring to get private firefighters to their properties above the general population. We're going to be talking about the billionaires who are prepping for end time survival. They're building farms and bunkers, like they're in full prep mode. Something's coming, my friends. And I think California is the Maui 2.0. We're going to talk about how one billionaire family, and you know them because you've bought some of their products, has 60% of California's water under wrap. We're going to talk about false claims that Trump made up that they're running out of water. I can prove that they're running out of water, and I'm going to tell you why they ran out of water. Good morning, everyone. And yes, I too am hearing that arsonists are involved. They are actively searching for arsonists right now. A good friend of mine that's been on this channel for a long time sent me a couple of dollars on PayPal this morning because she's amazing. And her little message said, Sam, they are actively, I heard it on the police scanner, they're actively searching for 5 arsonists right now in the Los Angeles area. So who are these arsonists? Because I think I've proven to you guys in the last couple of videos that the military and the Department of Defense have been working with the Forestry Department since the 70s to determine how to create these fires that are extremely hot and very destructive on purpose. Now, we know they can. We know they have. They did it in Vietnam. So the information is out there. It's out there for the public. So anybody that understands cloud seeding and weather modification understands that we have been having our environment prepped for such a time as this, so to speak. But we're going to start with some things I found out about some millionaires that seem to think that they are above. Hired a private firefighting team to protect her property as Lahaina burned, all right? Well, there's a gentleman named Keith Wasserman who is, I guess he's like a real estate guru and does some other stuff there in California. But he decided on January 7th at almost midnight, he puts out a tweet. And as I quote, does anyone have access to private firefighters to protect our home in the Pacific Palisades? Need to act fast here. All neighbors' houses are burning. We'll pay any amount. Thank you. Now, a lot of people went after him. This is him. That's his home he's trying to save. A lot of people say, hold on, dude. You'll pay any amount for a private firefighter to protect your mansion while everybody else around you is being burned out, right? So he did not get a lot of good feedback, and he called those people trolls. But this just shows you the disconnect between the upper 1% of the population and the rest of us. Like, I can't imagine standing at my house, looking at my neighbors' houses burn and go, oh, I need private firefighters here to protect me, but I'm going to let you burn, right? I would be like, hey, we need to come together and help each other fight this fire. But I'm just saying, just, oh no, hold on, you guys. Do I have enough battery for that? Oh, wait. All right, guys, hold on. Everybody's saying it's glitchy. Hold on. I can see comments. Wait. Is it still cutting out now? Is it still glitchy, guys? Okay, thank you, Esther. I apologize. Yes. All right, Hop and C said if you're having trouble, bounce back out and come back in. Okay, thank you, Rebecca. Somebody else said you're still cutting out. You may have to go out and come back in, guys. Okay, so let me go back. There was a millionaire in the Pacific Palisades that begged for, on Twitter, a private firefighting company to come save his house. Not his neighbors who were on fire, but his house. Okay? He says, does anyone have access to private firefighters to protect our home in the Pacific Palisades? Need to act fast here. All neighbors' houses burning. We'll pay any amount. Thank you. That's what he said. That is what he said on January 7th. Yeah, Miss Nancy, you may have to refresh. So what we're seeing, guys, is it's so bad right now. Okay, so several people are telling me they just cannot hear me. Guys, go out, log out and log back in, please, or refresh, because there's not much I can do with it on my end. All right, so we're going to go from that story to some billionaires. All right, so listen to me. This is what's happening right now. The super rich preppers are planning to save themselves from the apocalypse that they are creating. Tech billionaires are buying up luxurious bunkers and hiring military security to survive a societal collapse that they created. This gentleman that wrote this article went to visit a compound for billionaires. He said here was a prepper with security clearance, field experience, and food sustainability expertise. He believed the best way to cope with the impending disaster was to change the way we treat one another, the economy, and the planet right now, while also developing a network of secret, totally self-sufficient residential farm communities for millionaires. Did you hear what I just told you guys? For millionaires, not for you and I. They're not worried about you and I. They want to develop secret, totally self-sufficient residential farm communities guarded by Navy SEALs for them. All right, Miss Sandra, you're going to have to pop in and come. You're going to have to go out and come back in, friend. You have to restart. I don't know why it's glitching, but for everybody else right now, it's clear. So you're going to have to go out and come back in. Hi, everybody. All right. So I want you to understand that right now, there are billionaires, tech billionaires around this country buying up farmland. I've been talking about this for months. They are buying up farmland and they're making those areas totally sustainable. Okay. Instead of just lording over us forever, the billionaires at the top of these pyramids actively seek the end game. Everything must resolve to a 1 or a 0, a winner or a loser, the saved or the damned. Actually, imminent catastrophes from climate emergency to mass migrations offer these would-be superheroes the opportunity to play out the finale in their own lifetimes. For the mindset also includes a faith-based Silicon Valley certainty that they can develop a technology that will somehow break the laws of physics, economics, and morality to offer them something even better than a way of saving the world, a means of escape from the apocalypse that they have started. That's exactly right. Jennifer said, so does that mean farmland in the middle of these rural areas must be safe from the impending doomsday scenarios they're prepping for? Yes, I would assume so. So this prepper, this billionaire prepper, had security clearance, field experience, and food sustainability expertise. He believed the best way to cope with the impending disaster was to change the way that we treat one another, the economy, and the planet. So what he did was developed 2 farms as part of his safe haven project. Farm 1, which is outside of Princeton, is a show model. It works well as long as the police are still working. The second one is a secret. The fewer people who know the location, the better. Doesn't that sound lovely? All right, so he says that the primary value of safe haven is operational security, nicknamed OPSEC by the military. If and when the supply chain breaks, the people will have no food delivered. COVID-19 gave us the wake-up call as people started fighting over toilet paper. When it comes to a food shortage, it will be vicious. That is why those intelligent enough to invest have to become stealthy. Understand what he's telling you. If you are prepping or preparing in any way, folks, go underground with it. Go still, go quiet, go stealthy. Don't tell your neighbors. Don't show your friends. Just start putting your stuff aside and keep your mouth shut, okay? So this billionaire took the writer of the story. Oh, thank Hop and See. Okay, guys, real quick. Hop and See just gifted 5 memberships to different people on the channel. These 5 people got them. Chanel, Ruth Bartley, Jennifer Watson, The Grateful Warrior, and Save Sav. All 5 of you get a 1-month free membership to Sarkey Farmstead. Thank you, Hop and See. So the computer picks it. All right. And so just listen up, guys. They're basically going to have tactical training facilities along with goats, chickens, and bunkers. They're going to be surrounded by security and Navy SEALs, and you and I are not going to be able to get into these secure, unannounced locations for survival. Basically, they said they have layered security, protocols that he learned designing embassy properties, a fence, no trespassing signs, guard dogs, surveillance cameras, all meant to discourage violent confrontation. He paused for a minute, stared down the driveway. He said, honestly, I am less concerned about gangs with guns than the woman at the end of the driveway holding a baby and asking for food. I don't want to be in that moral dilemma. Many of those seriously seeking a safe haven simply hire one of several prepper construction companies to bury a prefab steel-lined bunker somewhere on one of their existing properties. Rising S Company in Texas builds and installs bunkers and tornado shelters for as little as $40,000 for an 8 by 12 foot emergency hideout, all the way up to the $8.3 million luxury series Aristocrat, complete with pool and bowling lanes. Wow. He said the company's logo, complete with 3 crucifixes, suggests their services are geared more toward Christian evangelist preppers in red state America than billionaire tech bros planning out sci-fi scenarios. Folks, why am I telling you this? This video is about the fires in California, but what I need you to understand is that right now across America, billionaires are prepping for the end time scenario. Okay. Right now, millionaires in California are asking for private firefighters to save their properties. None of these people are worried about you and I. You and I had better get Jesus in the boat with us and start listening to the Holy Spirit, because some bad things are fixing to happen. Now, I found out why California is having a water issue. Been doing great, Tabitha. Thank you. Gavin Newsom sent a bunch of the water that was meant to go into the reservoir to save a certain type of fish. That is the fish right there. You guys see that? That's the fish. Thousands of homes across California are burning for this fish. Yep, that's right. Smelt. That one little fish. Here's where the rest of the water in California happens to be. It's a bit longish, but you're going to want to watch this.
Suffer through unprecedented drought. One billionaire couple owns a massive share of the state's water system, seized in a series of secretive meetings 2 decades ago. That system was largely paid for by the very taxpayers whose water these billionaires hold hostage. Urban water systems are desperate for water, but in 2023, they'll receive just 5% of what they requested from the state. The Resnicks are the biggest farmers in California. As of 2007, they owned 4 San Francisco's worth of farmland, and nearly half of Americans buy at least one of their products. Their pistachios, their pomegranate juice, their mandarins, their flowers. It's all under one massive umbrella, the Wonderful Company, a privately owned company worth at least $5 billion. The majority owners, the Resnicks, are worth at least $8 billion. How were they able to take over such a large percentage of what should be a shared public resource? This is The Classroom from More Perfect Union, and today we're looking at how the Resnicks got rich. Linda is a former child actress, the daughter of Jack Harris, a successful movie distributor of the 1950s, most well known for The Blob.
Starring Steve McQueen and a cast of exciting young people.
At 19, she founded her own advertising agency. Stewart was born to a middle-class New Jersey family and started his first business, a janitorial service, in grad school. He eventually acquired American Protection Services, a burglar alarm and security company. Linda approached him about marketing services for the company, and they hit it off, not knowing that one day they'd work together to take over California's water. The lovebirds became business partners. They bought Teleflora, the flower delivery company, and the Franklin Mint, purveyors of inane little tchotchkes. Linda was the marketing person, and Stewart was in charge of business. As Linda told the LA Times in 1993, "I've always said that Stewart and I together make one perfect person, like little salt and pepper shakers." In the late 80s, they found their primary industry, agriculture. They got into the pistachio business. Linda said, "We've done more for the pistachio than anyone ever since it was planted in the Garden of Eden. My husband should be canonized for all the work he's done." They started branching into other products, almonds, pomegranates, citrus, wine, and acquiring more and more land to cover it, including some very important land in Kern County, which granted them water rights in the area. As the Resnicks were building their empire, the state of California was building new water infrastructure with taxpayer money. California's natural water supply is very inconsistent. Vastly differing amounts of rainfall means the state can go from surplus to drought and back very easily. So they build water banks to store water during surpluses to have during droughts. One important storage facility is the Kern Water Bank, started in 1988. The facility was built with hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars, which could have been a good thing. The people of California would have owned the water. But there were 2 Californians thirstier than the rest, and they wanted more water. Linda and Stewart Resnick, and they had a lot of political power. We'll get to that. In 1994, state water officials, water infrastructure contractors, and agricultural landowners with water rights arranged a secretive meeting at a resort in Monterey Bay, California. These groups, a mix of private companies and public agencies, rewrote California's water rules without any input from voters, taxpayers, or legislators. The new rules, called the Monterey Plus Agreement or the Monterey Amendments, were devastating for working Californians, and great for agriculture billionaires. The original code included urban preference, a long-standing rule that in times of drought, the state water board would give urban areas, where people live, access to water supplies before agricultural interests. Monterey axed that. That means that in times of drought, the water systems for normal Californians would have to buy water from private companies because they weren't getting it from the state. The new agreement also loosened regulations on paper water. That's water that doesn't necessarily exist anywhere but on paper. The full quantities of water that providers could have, but don't actually need to have. Today, 5 times as much water has been promised and sold as actually exists. And importantly, the meeting changed ownership of the current water bank. What once belonged to the state was transferred to a few private water contractors, one of which was Westside Mutual, a wholly owned subsidiary of Wonderful Foods. The wonderful employee who runs Westside, Bill Phillimore, is the chairman of the public organization that manages the Kern Water Bank. Boom. One secret meeting, and the Resnicks owned nearly 60% of an important California water resource, built with hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money. The new ownership, combined with the rules on paper and surplus water, meant that during times of drought, the Resnicks could sell Kern water back to the state water systems. They took Californian taxpayers' water and sold it back to them, both literally as the water supply and also to grow expensive food like gourmet pistachios and pomegranate juice. They converted the people's water into products many can't afford. And that's just one water bank. The Resnicks also have control of other water boards and have been sued for directing more water towards their properties. So how do they get away with this Chinatown-level chicanery?
Going to be a lot of irate citizens when they find out that they're paying for water that they're not going to get.
With philanthropy. The Resnicks donate millions of dollars to politicians and research institutions, which help them secure control over water systems, and even get more water and more taxpayer funding. One important project is the proposed California Delta Tunnel, a taxpayer-funded project which would send water from Northern California to Central, where the Resnicks farms are. They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on state and federal legislation and politicians who support the tunnel project. But their favorite politician is Senator Dianne Feinstein.
You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway.
Chair of the Energy and Water Subcommittee. She's a close personal friend of the Resnicks, attending their holiday parties in Aspen and maintaining their financial interests. A quick look through the bills she sponsored shows several which would direct money to Kern-adjacent water projects. The Resnicks even ask her for things directly. When a pesky study about endangering salmon and shad fisheries threatened the Delta Tunnel, Stewart wrote a letter to Feinstein demanding a new study. She immediately forwarded it to the Obama administration, who agreed to spend $750,000 on a new study. It returned the same results as the first one. Can't buy science. But the Resnicks have tried. They are among the top donors to the University of California system, with their donations focusing on agricultural and ecological studies. The Resnicks have basically bought entire departments who put out studies on how water systems should be managed and where funding should go. That leads to even more federal and state taxpayer dollars being used to fix up what the Resnicks profit off of. This 40 million Californians suffer through unprecedented drought. One billionaire couple owns a massive ship.
So let that sink in, because I heard rumors this morning when I first woke up and last night as I was going to bed, both on Twitter and TikTok, that California is not running out of water. Those rumors are from President Trump. They're not true, but they are true. Let me tell you something about President Trump. He doesn't make jokes about what he's fixing to do as a businessman. And when he makes a statement like California is running out of water, it is because it's true. And he knows something that mainstream media does not want out to the public. And I saw this guy so irritating, but I have to show you guys this gentleman.
Doesn't know where that story is coming from, even though it came from Donald Trump on Truth Social.
Many fire hydrants, we're told, in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood of Los Angeles have actually gone dry. What is the situation like right now? Do you have adequate supplies of water to fight this fire?
Yeah, I've been up in that area since about 3 this morning. I've seen no sign of water deficit up there. There's been water coming out of all the hoses that I've seen just by driving through. Again, I haven't heard any news of that myself.
So that is a firefighter on the ground confirming that he has not seen the deficit that people like Donald Trump are talking about. And just for reference, here's the Truth Social post where Donald Trump says,
now this guy is lying, because there is a water issue happening right now in California. Let me find it for you guys because I found it earlier. I was listening to a bunch of people talk and it was shocking because they're flat running out of water. And then the government gets up there and says, oh, we're not. Okay, here's one from Sarah Foster. We pay the highest taxes in California. Our fire hydrants were empty. Our vegetation was overgrown. Brush not cleared. Our reservoirs were emptied by our governor because tribal leaders wanted to save a fish. Our fire department budget was cut by our mayor, but thank God drug addicts are getting their drug kits. That is from Sarah Foster. So there's a lot going out right now about what is happening. My favorite, of course, is Governor Newsom. I call him Governor. It's Governor Gavin Newsom. But for some reason, I just combine his first name with Governor and I come up with Governor Newsom. I just don't like the guy. But I do want to show you guys this because I do think it's super important that you hear his nonsense. And then we're going to go and we're going to start talking about the things in the sky that are popping up all along these fire areas. Of course, you know, Gavin Newsom says that this is not political, but we all know that it is.
President-elect chose to attack you, blame you for that. It's one can't even respond to it. I mean, it's people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to the president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. And he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to divide any of us. The president-elect.
Really? Wait.
The president-elect.
Did you guys hear what Governor, I love saying that, Governor Newsom just said? Did you hear what he said? It's not politics. We did not divide anybody on politics. Am I the only one that remembers this?
A former employee for what it calls reprehensible actions. The agency says a supervisor was fired after telling her team that was helping hurricane victims not to go to homes with Trump signs. ABC's Perry Russum has those details.
Tonight, a federal investigation at FEMA after the agency fired a supervisor for what's being called a clear violation of FEMA's core values and principles to help people regardless of their political affiliation. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell says the unnamed supervisor ran a survivor assistance team and told her workers not to go to homes with yard signs supporting President-elect Donald Trump.
I think we're going to have a lot of impacts and people that are going to need our help, sir.
Criswell is not naming the supervisor, nor saying when or where the incident happened. But Governor Ron DeSantis says it was in Florida, calling it targeted discrimination. 2 major hurricanes hitting Florida this fall, including Hurricane Milton.
Am I the only person that remembers that? Because I know Gavin Newsom is trying to say that none of this is political. But it is. It is. You had hundreds of fire hydrants stolen in the Los Angeles area and they were scrapped for metal. Now, guys, if you know anything about city and state, they, even on metal, stamp. They stamp it. Okay. And I don't mean with paint. I mean, and they embed a stamp in the metal. All right. So if you stole that fire hydrant, somewhere on it is going to be either a tag drilled into it or a stamp embedded in the concrete saying that this belongs to the Los Angeles Fire Department. So wherever they scrapped those fire hydrants for money, those companies should have been, arrested for accepting stolen goods. And those fire hydrants should have been returned to the city months ago, but they weren't. They just let it go. Hundreds of fire hydrants missing. In Los Angeles, it's just like, it's okay. No big deal. Drug addicts got their fix. Everybody's happy. All right. And here's the other thing. You're never going to know how many people died in this fire either, due to the number of homeless and unhoused people on the streets of Los Angeles. I guarantee you thousands of them are going to perish in this fire, and nobody is going to know who it is. But this is the woman who worked for FEMA, that decided if you had a Trump sign in your yard, you didn't need to get any kind of help. Oops.
This is the culture. They were all.
Hold on, it's coming. Where's it at?
Already avoiding these homes. And when I first reported to Florida, I was already on another team. I was there as a specialist. This was the culture. They were already avoiding these homes based on community trends from hostile political encounters. It has nothing to do with the campaign sign. It just so happened to be part of the community trend. When you focus in on the campaign sign, you are violating the Hatch Act. So that is something that FEMA definitely wants to stay away from because it was created in 1939, and that was to protect citizens from being alienated based on their political stance. What's reprehensible is they're not being transparent. Why is this coming down on me? I am the person that jotted down the notes from my superiors, and my notation in Teams chat was exposed from their surge capacity team. That's exactly what happened, and it's easy to then say, well, haha, it's her name, it's her writing. Right. Make her.
But you know, I've heard that lady several times, and I've never heard her apologize for literally ignoring people who needed help simply because they had a Trump sign. She said it was a community trend thing. It wasn't the sign, it was a community trend. Well, how would she feel if FEMA workers go out, look over there and see a bunch of Hispanic and people and go, oh, community trend is that, you know, they don't speak English and they don't like FEMA, so we're just not going to go over there. I mean, come on now. There comes a point where you just got to call them out. Now, let's talk about the unexplained objects in the sky everywhere over these fires. Let's get on this.
And then watch when I pan over here in a second. And this is all live screen footage from Los Angeles. I said, what the fuck is that shit, bro? What is that? What is this purple thing right here?
So yes.
Wow.
Now, no, their language is bad. I'm sorry.
About this fire and what started it. And nobody got answers. But like I said, this thing was caught on live TV. And multiple people said they seen it in real life. So my question is, what is it? Y'all tell me what the fuck this is. Look. You see that shit? Look like Goku flying through the sky.
There's at least 4 other fires. There is a video I need to show you that I posted a few months ago during the Ventura fire. Some of you may have seen this, but this video has never been more important than it is today. It is literally showing Area 51 and military craft over that area laying something in the sky. It could be chaff, it could be something else. It then flows directly to Southern California without fail, right where the fires are. I posted this video on X and it is currently going super viral. Watch this video and then tell me what you think when it comes down to Area 51, the fact that they canceled so many people's insurance, fire insurance, in the last couple months, and they have no water to put these fires out. These fires are 0% contained, all 5 of them, and it's just getting worse and worse. My friends, this video is going to blow your minds. Please share it in case it gets removed, because this is touching on some stuff that cannot be explained right now. Enjoy. All right, everyone, welcome back. This is going to blow your mind. Once again, we are looking at Area 51. As these fires are going on in Southern California, they are laying something over Area 51. It's then being shot by the NextRad radar system. You can see that clear as day right here. It is then expanding and being dropped right over Southern California. And then take a look at what happens to Area 51. This is totally insane. This is not normal, and this is not birds or bugs.
It's not birds or bugs. Watch this one.
It's above the fire right now in Santa Monica. It's a kite?
Yeah, it's a kite. I can see by its shape, it's a kite.
That's the fire.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I'm trying to determine what direction it's going. What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's very bright. Should we ask to know what that is?
It's not a kite. It's not. It's just flying around.
Maybe
It's not a kite. Kites are not going to just fly away. It's moving. There's a fire.
All right, you guys, that is off Michael Nelson, the guy that put that up. That video, you can go to TikTok. If you have TikTok, his name is Michael Nelson. He's filming with his son. And it's like this black, elongated, almost looks like it has tentacles coming off of a blob. And it is floating. It's catching the waves. It's going up and it's going down. It's going forwards and it's floating backwards. And his kid's like, I don't know what that is, Dad. Maybe it's a kite. Maybe it's a bird. But the point is that they are unexplained objects, not only hovering with lights, but shooting through the sky, and also black objects that look like kites. I mean, come on, you guys. What do y'all think this is? Look at this.
It's above the fire right now in Santa Monica.
It's very dark, very long.
It's a kite.
Yeah, it's a kite.
It looks like it has tentacles.
There's the fire.
I don't know what that is either, but I can tell you what, that guy right there, I totally believe he is seeing what he's saying, that he is seeing, mainly because him and his son were so calm about it. All right. All right, so this is where people are talking about the UFO that came out of Los Angeles. Watch. You can hear how bad the wind is blowing in these videos. Watch. You'll see it shoot across the screen. Then he rewinds it for you and slows it down. Do you see it? Bottom right hand going across. There it is. Kind of reminds me of the video that I showed you guys a second ago with the black object that's doing that. Now, where's it at? Okay, so I showed you guys all those. Let me show you the one I ran across this morning about the fires, the mathematical impossibility of the fires all starting at the same time. A lot of people don't realize this, but this is a good thing about satellites. Watch this. Now it's going to watch it. All three fires, you guys. Okay, I just got a warning. My computer just warned me that I have an unstable connection. So I guess I'm hitting on truth because my computer just told me in big bold letters across the heading, you have an unstable connection. So I guess we're hitting on a lot of truth right now in this section because I don't even know if you guys can hear me anymore. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Because my computer just did something crazy. Yeah, they are, Brian. They do not. So I'm going to show it again. All three major fires at the same time, friends. Look at this. This is mathematically impossible. And they are looking for arsonists right now. A viewer of this channel was listening in on a police scanner. They're looking for 5 specific arsonists. They're never going to tell you that in mainstream media. They're never going to tell you that they believe it is an arsonist that started this fire. They're going to tell you that it's climate change. And what have we been proving to you guys on this channel consistently for the past 3 days? The federal government, the Department of Defense, the military, the forestry department, all the alphabet groups have been working since the 1970s on something called like wildfire, ways of warfare. They know how to do it. They know when to sort the fires in every environment, how to keep those fires burning. I'm just telling you guys, this is real. This stuff is real. Okay, so moving on real fast before I lose my connection. Watch this one.
Firemen don't have hoses, so they're like literally using purses, women's handbags, filling up women's handbags to put out fires. Look at this. What in the world? LAFD Fire Department using women's handbags to put out fires. What is going on here? Have you guys ever seen this in your life? Look.
I don't know. That's what's coming out. And, you know, I'm not there, so I'm going to let people share their experiences from California as they so seem fit. I'm not going to try to, you know, bully my way into that. I'm not there. All right. So days before the mayor of Los Angeles, Bass, her last name is Bass, so Mayor Bass, left for Ghana, the National Weather Service Los Angeles Bureau warned of extreme fire weather conditions. The day before the fires broke out, Bass shared a NWS warning suggesting that she knew that there was going to be a fire upon her departure. There's an unexpected, destructive, and potentially life-threatening windstorm starting Tuesday morning through Wednesday afternoon, said Bass. Stay safe, LA. And then she flew out. All right. Now let's talk about this. University of California put a paper out September 19th of 2024 saying, here's why you can't get home insurance in California. Wildfires today are not what they were in the 19th century. Or even 20 years ago. Disastrous, history-making fires that are no longer anomalies. The 2017 Sonoma County Tubbs Fire, the Camp Fire in Butte County, which utterly destroyed the town of Paradise a year later, are stark examples. Fire season, once limited to late summer, early fall, now spans the entire calendar. But the problem isn't just raised houses. Increasingly, Californians struggle to find private insurance to rebuild, in large part because no one wants to insure homes in the wildland urban interface zones, fire-prone areas where development abuts wildlands. How urgent is the insurance crisis and the wildfire risks that are driving it? And what, if anything, can be done about it? The rising cost of insurance and unavailability of insurance is a problem not just in California, but 17 other states across the United States are now dealing with this. It says here, the reason are wildfires, tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, sea level rise, atmospheric river bombs, and extreme heat. California insurers are doing both. So let me tell you guys what's really going on. California is the only state that will not allow insurance companies to raise their rates. You heard me say that. It's a total socialist plan. It's basically saying we require you to provide a service, but we're not going to allow you to make enough money to keep your company afloat. Okay, so because California is the only state that will not allow the insurance companies to raise the rates to cover the cost of the insurance they're providing, the state had to come in and come up with their own, I think it's called FAIR. Let me double check that. Yes, California's FAIR plan, and the people on it doubled in 2020. There's now 452,000 people on the FAIR plan for insurance through California because California is so socialist. Guys, a company cannot stay afloat if you're forcing them to provide insurance to people in high-risk areas, but you won't allow them to raise the rate for the cost of the insurance, if that makes sense. So you are the insurance company, okay? You, the person listening to me, I'm the state. I'm going to come up to you and I'm going to say, hey, friend, you have to offer insurance to everybody in this state. You say, okay. And then I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, but even though we know that this area keeps catching on fire and it's costing you billions of dollars a year, you cannot raise the rate of insurance for anyone. You can't. You can only charge $400 a month, even though you, the company, are going to end up paying out $20 billion a year to rebuild these homes over and over again in these fire areas. Now, I see it both ways. I do. People need insurance, but let me ask you this. Why do you need insurance? Who told you that? Your mortgage company. Your mortgage company. So it always goes back to the banks, right? So you have a mortgage, which means you don't own your home. The bank does. So they're forcing you to carry insurance in case anything happens to their investment so that they don't lose money. The banks don't want to lose money. But see, California won't allow the insurance companies to charge what it actually costs to keep their companies afloat. So you have State Farm pulled out 30 days ago. They canceled something like 86,000 policies, fire policy, insurance policies on homes and businesses across California because the state won't let them raise their rates. But just a few days ago, policies started skyrocketing because they're looking at something new. So State Farm, one of the biggest insurers in California, canceled hundreds of homeowners policies last summer in Pacific Palisades, the same area which is now being ravaged by fires. Several private insurers have cut coverage in at-risk areas across California in the past 3 years, leaving homeowners scrambling to find options for coverage. As a result, California's FAIR plan, which works as an insurer of last resort in the state, has now more than doubled its policies between 2020 and 2024. Almost 500,000 people now have insurance through the state because public companies, private companies cannot afford to cover insurance in California. That's exactly right, John. World Economic Forum, own nothing and be happy. That's exactly what they're doing, David. They are forcing people into a very bad situation. Your mortgage demands that you cover your home with an insurance policy because it's not your home. It's the bank's. So you now have to carry insurance. This fire is going to cut through Los Angeles, Santa Monica. It's going to destroy hundreds of thousands of buildings. Most of you are not going to be able to get an insurance policy or be able to afford an insurance policy when this is all said and done. So if you own the land that your building was on, your home or business, what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to rebuild because you're not going to be able to afford the insurance to rebuild. So then someone else is going to come in and pay you pennies on the dollar for your toxic land. And now they have what they want. See, the thing most people don't understand, I've been talking about this for a year. Biden pushed through something called 30 by 30. It means 30% of land, usable land that you and I, Americans, could be living in, farming, hunting, recreation, doesn't matter. 30% of the land in America has to be tied up and unused by 2030. That's only 5 years from now. So how are they going to get 30% of used land unused by 2030, folks? I'm going to let you figure that out. Okay, so John said you still pay taxes on the home you think you own. Agreed. You do. Unless you homestead it. I pay no taxes on the property that I own. I'm homesteaded. I have no mortgage and I have no land taxes. But can they eminent domain me? Of course they can. Of course they can. Okay, so yes, something is coming, guys. Something is. So about the insurance, there are 3 fires currently burning in Southern California: Palisades, Eaton, and Hearst. This was a couple of days ago. This is before Santa Monica and all of those started catching on fire. All right, so 3 fires burning. All 3 fires started at the identical same moment. That's mathematically impossible, folks. You see that, right? All 3 fires started at the same time. At the same time. All right, so I think that's pretty much all I've got for you guys. We know that the mayor was out of town in Africa. She was there on taxpayer-funded trip for something Biden had gotten her to do. We know that right now there's $1 billion missing from COVID money under Gavin Newsom, but he's building him a multi-million-dollar mansion, which, by the way, did not burn. We know that there is a water shortage, that fire hydrants were stolen. We know that orbs and fireballs and possibly even lasers have been seen in the sky, along with NexRad going insane out of Area 51. What does that mean? It means that all this weather was created. This is not natural. This is not global warming. But they know that if you don't clean underneath, if you don't do control burns in these forests, that undergrowth on the ground builds up. That is basically fuel for a fire. Here in Louisiana, we have thousands of acres of sugarcane. Sugarcane's very flammable. So what do? Every couple of years, we are required to burn those areas to get all the detritus on the ground out of there, to get the fuel load brought down so that a natural fire doesn't take off and burn the entire lower end of my state. Guys, you need to just go ahead and possibly think about purchasing a couple of things to help you and your family get out. They make these balls that you can throw ahead of you and they explode, and it puts the fire out for like the next 10 feet so that you can make a way through a fire. I'm just saying, if you don't have a bug out bag, you aren't prepared for what's coming. Friend, this is the year. Look, God has been warning us in the Old Testament and the New Testament. As we get closer to the end times, there's definitely going to be a divide. The evil are going to become more evil, and the good are we're just going to be fighting our way through this. But we do have Jesus. So hang in there, friends. We are not in this alone. All right? Lean on God, trust God, but for the love of God, get prepared. Pay your mortgages off. I know what a lot of people are going to say, Sam, we can't. Everything's so expensive. Imagine how less expensive life would be for you right now if you would pay your mortgage off, because a lot of people are not going to be able to afford insurance and a mortgage. It's coming, folks. Just like with car insurances shooting up in cities that have a lot of illegal migrants. Why? Because they can't drive with poop. And they're running into people. And I had a person on this channel reach out to me while I was in Seattle and said, Sam, my husband and I work for Uber. We're retired. Not Uber, Uber Eats. And they said, what's happening is the illegals come in and work for half the cost that Uber's willing to pay you. So they get all the jobs. And then because they're driving around under somebody else's name with somebody else's vehicle at a cheaper cost, they're causing wrecks. And our vehicle was recently totaled by an illegal driver. We're left without a vehicle, without a job, and nothing happened to the illegal. They didn't even arrest them. They didn't even ticket them. Folks, this is what is happening in our country. So somebody said, what are the boom balls called? Okay, so I'll look it up for you. Fire hydrant balls to throw. Let me see if I can find it. That may not have been. No, I shouldn't have said that. Fire. Let me try this. Fire. All right, hold on. I'm going to find it. Fire extinguishers, ball shaped. Here we go. They're called portable automatic fireball extinguisher with bracket. They're called fire suppression ball self-activation fire suppression device. Okay. They're amazing. They're small. You can put them in a bug out bag. You can drop a couple in your vehicle, folks. If you live in these areas that are prone to forest fires, just having that and maybe something that you and your family could put around you, the $3 or $4 fire retardant silver sheets, just to help, guys. Everything helps. And remember how I started this video. Billionaire tech billionaires are buying up all the land in rural areas. We've been talking about that. I will put those videos up for you guys in community so that you can go back and watch them from like a year ago. Why does that matter? Because they're building bunkers and they have SEAL teams and military op teams protecting these farms and these bunkers. They're building them right now across the United States, but they aren't for you and I. So maybe this year, Leslie and I told you, the ones of you who are members of this channel and the ones of you who get the newsletter, you guys, we're going to help you guys meet each other through Zoom by the region you live in. Maybe you can meet some like-minded people, and maybe you guys can start building some form of I'll grow cattle, you make clothes. I don't know, but you guys can build your own little communities, maybe by state or by region, so that you have people you all can start depending on. Because trust me when I tell you, they're preparing for something in 2025. All right, Maui, I knew when God sent me to Maui, there was a reason. I learned about NextRad. I learned about weather modification. I learned that there were lasers that could repel hurricanes off the coast of Maui. I saw it with my own eyes, and mind-blowing. What I'm seeing right now happening in California is horrific. This was intentional. They don't care. None of them care. Nobody's safe. The Hollywood sign was burning. When I went to bed last night, I saw the Hollywood sign burn. And I told my husband, I said, part of me is like, yay, bye Hollywood. But there's a part of me that's a little sad, guys, for the people and animals that are dying. Watch this. Hollywood sign burning. Yeah. Oh, my back. Okay. I'm sitting here for so long after flying yesterday, you guys. My back is killing me. So I love you guys. Be so very safe. Get out there. Be safe. Know that guys, it's bigger than what we know. It's more than they'll ever tell us. Love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Talk to you later.